Hi, and welcome to Smoke Training. This is part 9 of the ConnectFX series, and we'll be looking at creating and modifying masks inside of ConnectFX. We'll look at applying and using masks, context viewing while editing your mask, and show you some useful masking tips and tricks. Creating and modifying masks is central to effect shots in any editing or effects application. In Smoke 2013, getting a good understanding of how masking works will help you conquer the most demanding of shots. In Final Cut Pro, if you required advanced masking abilities, you would send the shot to an external application such as Motion or maybe After Effects. With Smoke 2013, you have powerful masking abilities built right into the timeline with ConnectFX, meaning there is no need to round trip to another application. The masking abilities of Smoke 2013 are very powerful, yet remain very simple to use. Let's jump into ConnectFX to explore the masking tool. Let's say we've been supplied with a still image that we want to composite over a background shot that was on our timeline. Drag the image into the ConnectFX schematic from the media panel. What we need to do now is apply a mask to our still image so that it appears over the top of the background. Masking inside of ConnectFX is performed using the Gmask node. Make sure the node bin is active by pressing Ctrl-Tab. Now locate the Gmask node. Simply drag the node into the ConnectFX schematic. Notice the red light on the Gmask node? This indicates there is a problem with the node. The Gmask tool requires an input for it to work correctly. Drag a connection line from the still image and connect it into the Gmask red input tab. The red warning light now has disappeared. Double-click the Gmask node so that its parameters appear below. To start drawing the mask, from the ConnectFX Tools menu here, select the Draw Shape option. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Shift-C to enable the mask drawing tool. Click down and start plotting the points required to effectively isolate the part of the image you wish to be shown. When drawing the mask, as you click down, drag away from the point you created, and this will help create a more natural curve. Finally, click down on the point you created first to complete and close the shape. What we need to do now is to combine the two clips using the mask we've just created. To easily combine layers in ConnectFX, use the Blend and Comp node. This node allows us to combine two separate images and alpha channels over a background. Let's connect the still image into the first input. Drag another connection line from the yellow output of the still image into the first red input connection of the Blend and Comp node. Also, connect the other shot into the background of the Blend and Comp node. This is represented by the green input connector. For a more detailed explanation of nodes and their connection points, check out episode 17 of Smoke Training, Working with Nodes. The mask we just created can now be connected into the Blend and Comp node through the blue connector. A blue connection input on any node in ConnectFX is where you can add in any image or effect that you want to be used as a mask inside of that node. Draw a connection line from the yellow output connector of the Gmask node into the first blue connector of the Blend and Comp node, otherwise known as the matte input. If we click on the Blend and Comp node, now we can see the result of our still image composited over the top of our background. Just so we can have a look at a few of the options that the Gmask tool provides, let's drop in a new Gmask node and remove the first one. Another way of drawing your mask is by using the freehand mask tool. Choose Draw Shape from the Tools menu. As you can see, the shortcut we used previously to activate the mask tool is listed here, Shift-C. This time, as you draw the mask, hold down the Shift key. You now no longer have to click and plot points, but simply trace precisely around the image you wish to isolate. When you let go of the Shift key, you return to the traditional mode of clicking to place mask points. To aid in drawing a mask more accurately when using the freehand mode, zoom in using the Command plus keyboard shortcut, and press Control Command to temporarily switch to the Pan tool and navigate the frame as required. Adding further masks to your image is straightforward, and it can be done directly inside of this Gmask node. After creating and closing your first mask, simply select the Draw Mask tool again in the Tools menu or press the keyboard shortcut Shift-C. When creating masks in other systems, you may be used to various options that allow you to add, subtract, invert, or intersect multiple mask shapes. The Gmask node doesn't appear to have that functionality at first glance, but if you look here, all that functionality is contained within just these two options. By activating the outside box, you tell the mask to keep the area that is outside the original shape that you drew. Let's view the result of the mask node by pressing F4 so we can see what effect these controls have. As you can see, by toggling the outside button on or off, it has the effect of inverting the mask shape. With the color parameter field beneath, this determines whether the mask color is white, which is equal to 100, or lets us change the mask color to black by reducing this value to 0. With the mask color set to black, the second shape now effectively subtracts away from the first mask shape, because only where the mask color is white will your image be retained. Let's adjust the softness of the second mask now so that it slightly fades the existing mask to black along the top here. This should help blend our still image into the different background. Use the offset field to create softness on the edge of the mask. Because we changed this mask to black, where it overlaps with the first mask, it is effectively subtracting it away. Here's a useful tip. It's helpful to be able to see what effect a mask has in the final output. First, let's set the ConnectFX output node as our context view. Right-click on the output node and choose Set as Context. Now make the right window active by clicking into the frame. With the white outline showing around the viewport, we can now assign a different viewing method. From the View menu beneath, choose Context 1. This will enable you to choose our mask node and be able to view and modify the mask parameters while viewing the end result of the composite. At the moment, we can't see the edge of the composite due to the mask outlines being visible in the viewport. To quickly turn off all the visible screen icons in the viewport when in the Gmask node, hit the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-I. Now we can see the composite with no distractions, and we can now toggle the visibility of the individual masks on and off. This button here, Render Mask, will toggle the visibility of the mask. As we are viewing our final composite in the right window, now as we turn the visibility of the second mask on and off, we can see what effect it has and if it helps improve our composite. After drawing a mask, sometimes you'll want to change the mask points. Simply click on a point to move and reposition it as required. If you wish to move multiple points at the same time, hold down the Command key and draw a lasso selection around a number of mask points. The selection points turn red. Click and move any of these selected nodes and the points all move together. By default, when you create a mask, the points are created with tangent handles that enable you to control the angle of the mask and how it flows through each point. Dragging the tangent handles further away from the mask point means that the mask lines react much more when moving the handles up and down. The default tangent handles, however, modify the mask on both sides of the mask point. To be able to modify the mask tangent on just one side, we need to use the Break Tangent mode located here in the Tools menu. The quickest way of activating this is to use the keyboard shortcut Shift-B. When you click and drag on one of the tangent handles now, you are only modifying the mask on this one side. If you click on the actual mask point now with the Break Tangent tool active, you actually remove the tangent handles. This turns the mask point into a linear or corner point. Returning to the Select tool now, when we move this mask point, you can see the result of removing the tangent handles. Linear points become very useful when trying to isolate man-made objects that contain mainly straight lines. Into the Tools menu, select the Auto Tangent option, or use the keyboard shortcut Shift-U. This lets us click on any of the mask points that we turned into linear corner points and return them to their default state with tangent handles. Now, if at any stage you feel you need extra points added into your mask, simply select Add Points from the Tools menu. Here's one last tip. To create a mask that has variable edge softness, simply click the Softness button. The name here changes to Tracer. Every mask control point now has the ability to be adjusted both inside and outside of the original mask point you created, giving you full control over the softness of the mask. As you can see, the masking controls available to you in ConnectFX are far superior to the masking abilities of any other editing system you may have used previously, and they're all ready to be used directly inside of Smoke without the need to round trip to another program.